Hello, before I get started talking about the issue, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Stephen Harvell. I am a missionary recruiter for a ministry called Cadence Student Ministries, which does youth ministry overseas on military installations. I just finished doing a year of that in June, where I was at Ramstein Air Base being a youth minister. I have a wife. Her name is Rachel Harvell, and we both are called to full-time missions or ministry, and both our dads are pastors and raised in the church. We also both were taught in public schools for our whole educational time. Rachel and I both, when we were in school, were aware and affected by students that had taken a part in cheating. So I believe that cheating is a very strong issue right now that many students are doing, and I'm going to have this presentation to show you that this is a topic that should be addressed and is very, very degrading of the Christian faith with our students and is not letting them be proper representatives of Christ. Cheating is the definition of cheating is the act of dishonesty or practicing fraud. Fraud is the definition is deception deliberately practiced in order to secure unfair or unlawful gain. Stanford University defines academic cheating as representing someone else's work as your own. It can take many forms, including sharing another's work, purchasing a term paper or test questions in advance, and paying another to do the work for you. A person that is cheating is not only being unlawful, which is not submitting to authorities. They are practicing dishonesty, laziness, and selfishness. Some people want to show that cheating, or would argue that cheating is not laziness, but it is other characteristics as not being challenged enough or being over-challenged and cannot actually complete the work. But in the end, they're still being lazy, because they could have studied or gotten the help. They just didn't want to, or they were not being humble enough to step up and say that they needed help. If a student is cheating and is a Christian, then they are also not being proper ambassadors of Christ and are betraying God in the incorrect way. Cheating is an issue that both teachers and students are aware of on all levels of education, from elementary school up to master's and doctorate level. There are people that are cheating. But how bad is it? Is there a big enough issue that it should be addressed by the church to the next generation of believers? Yes, there is. There are multiple statistics out there on the topic of cheating. Each statistic has different numbers on how many students cheat, but none of the statistics have a positive result. All of them are stating that majority of students are cheating, and many of the statistics also have to factor in how many students are lying and actually cheating even though they claim that they are not. So in that point, there are even more students that are cheating than even the statistics are claiming. Stanford University did a statistic and stated that 73% of all test takers in higher education say that most students cheat. 86% of high schoolers also agree with that statement. In 1940, there was only 20% of college students admitted to cheating in high school, while in recent years' studies, the percentage of college students admitting to cheating has ranged from year to year between 75% and 98%. Here is a video of two other sources that have recent statistics on how many students are actually cheating in our schools.
A new study is revealing some pretty disturbing trends among teenagers. The Josephson Institute of Ethics surveyed about 43,000 high school students, and here's what they found: that frequent cheating, stealing, and lying in the past year is up. Cheating is especially widespread in schools, with more than half of the students now admitting to cheating on a test during the past year. Also, 1 in 3 students admitted to using the internet as a source of plagiarizing assignments. Students also admitted it just gets worse, to lying and stealing from parents or friends. And even more concerning, the numbers are most likely understated findings, with the potential of students lying on the survey itself. What is the deal?
I know what the deal is.
It's a national epidemic that plagues both K-12 schools and institutes of higher education. A recent national survey reveals that a shocking 80% of high academic achievers admit to cheating or plagiarizing.
As it shows statistics and as it is seen, there is a huge amount of people that are cheating, and it is this bad of a situation that kids are cheating. And so, because of this, it needs to be addressed, it needs to be looked at. So this is how I believe that we should be addressing and also fixing this issue. Unless the number of students in school that are Christians or claim to be Christians have dropped to less than 20%, there are Christian students that are proclaiming to be Christians that are cheating, and some of them will not even see an issue with it either. To solve this problem, we need to use the Bible to show them that it is wrong. This can be done in a whole group of students or one-on-one, but the fact is that it needs to be addressed with students. If they do believe that the Bible is, when you talk to them, they need to be aware that if they are believers, that they believe that the Bible is true and that they need to follow what it says. If you have students that don't believe the Bible is true and they're claiming to be Christians, then encourage them not to profess themselves as claiming to be Christians, because they're degrading and smearing the name of Christ, and they need to stop it via their cheating. As Christians, what you can first start off with is, after you have stated that, you can use Scripture, if they agree with you that the Bible is true, to prove this point. As Christians, we are ambassadors for Christ. You can use 2 Corinthians 5:20 to show that, and state that what they're doing is not resembling Christ, and that they are not being good ambassadors for Him. You also might need to explain that ambassadors are people that represent another person or another group of people. You are the face of that group. So if someone, because a lot of the statement has said that we are the only face that some people see of Christ, and it's by the way we act, the way we love, and what we do. And so the kids that are cheating are not going to be the ones resembling that Christ is pure and holy and honest. Which gets to the next portions of that. Also, you can use Romans 13 for showing that they should be submitting to authorities. And since every school in the nation has made cheating against the rules, cheating is also a sin because you're not submitting to the authorities. It doesn't matter if it's a government or if it's just a teacher. If they have said that cheating is bad, then it is bad. It is not saying that cheating is not to cheat will not stop a kid from worshiping Christ. So you are not supposed to defile this authority. You are supposed to obey it and follow it, because that is what they have claimed, even if the student thinks that cheating is perfectly alright. Also, graded work is to show how well a student knows the information, not how much the internet, books, or other students know. So when an assignment is turned in with other people's work on it, it is being dishonest and lying that the student did all the work. You can use Colossians 3:9 to help prove this argument. That's where it could be really showing that the dishonesty portion, because a lot of kids don't see it as being dishonest. A lot of kids see cheating as just getting to the next level, that this is an objective, I have to get through school so I can get a job. But it's more important that having a kid's mentality, having Christian mentality, that glorifying God with their whole life is way more important than cheating or just getting to the next level to have a job or to have money. Should change the mentality that learning is something that God desires, and learning to grow closer to Him and to represent Him, and learning how to spiritually walk with Him is more beneficial than just getting an A so they can get a good scholarship to go to college, so that they can get into medical school, so that they can become a doctor and be super rich. That's not the point. Other issues that can be used, that one can use the Bible to show that this is a part of cheating, is addressing the laziness aspect and also the selfishness aspect. Proverbs is full of verses that have to talk with laziness, that a person that is cheating is lazy not to study, They are being lazy, that they didn't want to do the work. They wanted to go have fun and talk on Facebook more than do the work. And so even Proverbs verses like Proverbs 10:4 is a great verse to use. For selfishness, you can use Philippians 2:3 and also Romans 2:8. You are a student has chosen to get a higher grade than actually be honest and take a failing grade because of they want to be selfish and have a better gain. One time I was in English class and there was a vocab test, and all the students in my class there was a mass cheating going on, where a student from one of the first periods would write down all the answers and then mass copy them for every single period beforehand, and this was going on for weeks. And so I wouldn't take part of it, but then one week I had forgotten to study for this vocab test. I was lazy and decided that I didn't want to do it. So I had no clue what any of the answers were. And I was very, very tempted to cheat. And so one of the kids was turning the paper in. They handed me the cheat sheet and said, hey, use this so that you can get an A. And I started to write down the answers on the cheat sheet, and I felt awful about it. And so I erased all of the answers, and I turned in my paper blank, and I told the teacher I was cheating. I had this cheat sheet, and give me a 0 because that is what I deserve for even trying to cheat. And she was kind, and she said, just guess and get a better grade. And I didn't do good on the test, but I chose to have an F or have a terrible grade over getting an A because I did not want to be, I wanted to be humble and not be selfish just to take an A because it was an A so we can get a better grade so I can get better scholarships for school. So that is where the student's mentality should be different than just the grade is the most important and the best thing to have. Now that we are aware that cheating is bad, we have biblical proof that it is bad, and we also have then shown the kids that it is bad. It is now, how can we as ministries treat the issue and keep kids from doing cheating? So the first thing is the student needs to be willing to change. It is a choice where you can state multiple times, hey, cheating is bad, cheating is bad, cheating is bad, cheating is bad. But if the kid is like, cool, I don't believe you, then they're still going to cheat. You can use as many Bible verses as you want to, but if there's not a heart change, they're not going to be willing. Then they're just going to keep on cheating. But if a kid is willing to change, or if a student that has been caught cheating and you say, hey, we need to change it, are you willing to try? Then we can go on with it and help them out. So there's the physical realm of stopping them from cheating. It would take quite a few different people to take part of it. The student needs to be willing to study and actually do their work correctly so that they will actually have the answers correctly, so they would not have a temptation to cheat because they would know more of the information for the tests or even for homework, to have a certain time to do homework and get completed instead of trying to cram it in during the school hours. The parents also, if they're willing to help, would be a great thing to encourage the student to study, to maybe not put a computer or video game system in their room so that they have to focus on working on their textbooks instead of Facebooking or YouTubing or playing Call of Duty. They also, if the student, a really cool thing would be if a student got the accountability of a teacher to help them out. Whereas during a test or before the class, to ask the teacher, hey, I don't want to be cheating, can you keep a closer eye on me and to make sure that I'm not cheating, so that the kid would have an encouragement not to look at another person's paper because they know that the teacher is focusing more on them. And that also would gain the teacher's respect because they are taking that initiative to learn and grow. And then also friends and the youth minister should also be on top of it, encouraging them and saying and helping them not want to cheat and giving them positive, righteous type of activities that would encourage not cheating, but then also to encourage them, hey, go study, instead of saying, oh, you can study later, let's go play soccer right now, or let's go play football. To say, actually, you need to go study, don't come hang out with us until you're done. And that's actually good. So that's the good way of doing this physical helping the student get on track. But there's also spiritual, and that's that's the best portion of it, is because a student trying themselves as hard as they can with human help to change is going to go nowhere unless they have God behind them and they are actually trusting in God. They need to be faithful and confident to ask God for help and have that humility and say, I need help, God, please help me out. So if a student is growing spiritually, then they will bear the fruit that will give them, help them be less interested in cheating. As Colossians 1 is talking about to bear fruit, where people should pray. So youth ministers, Paul was praying for the church in Colossae to bear the fruit of the Spirit, and to bear fruit that is going to be beneficial in helping others. And that's also where cheating, if they're growing spiritually, then there's going to be less of a desire to cheat, because they know that that is not how Christ would have lived. And so having youth ministers, family, friends praying behind them and saying, Lord, please help them grow spiritually stronger and encourage them to stay in the Word of God. This will also develop their spiritual life, which will then bear physical fruit, which will be stronger academic success and to be a above reproach student. Finally, have an environment that addresses and makes cheating a terrible and bad thing that is not cool and not acceptable. In school, the students are facing, public or private, they're facing a peer pressure that says cheating is good. There's no issues with cheating. Cheating is the way to go. That's why we have around 98% sometimes in a year students cheating, because of that positive influence. Even though the schools are saying don't cheat, they don't have a care in the world. So having people that the student care about, that look up to, parents, youth ministers, even their friends, that are saying cheating is bad. Having this addressed at church, having this addressed everywhere, that cheating is bad. Cheating is not the cool thing to do. Cheating is not beneficial. Cheating will not help you out. It will start changing their mentality. It will let them focus more on doing proper schoolwork and growth. So that's how I see that cheating can be addressed. It is a big issue, and it can be fixed. But like any other issue, it needs to be heavily addressed for the students to change and then walk closer with Christ and grow with Him. Thank you very much.